Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Humpday.
Woo-hoo!
Woohoo! That must have been what Patrick Reed was saying. Woohoo! Right? He's been saying it for a few days now.
What a great weekend.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch, man. Pretty crowded leaderboard.
Pretty crowded.
My picks did very well.
So why was Yahoo Sports giving Reed such a bad time? Was giving him bad press on Yahoo?
Because he's a conservative.
I didn't get the whole thing.
Oh, they said, he was like a difficult child in college, and he has a history of.
He transferred. He transferred out of UGA.
Yeah.
Transferred because he lied to the coaches about a DUI he got. He was accused of stealing some money out of the locker room, which a couple of guys on the team said he did. He said no. They never figured out who it was or what it was, and apparently he's got a very strained relationship with his parents. I know they went to one of the U.S. Opens and he didn't want them there. And who knows why that is? But it's not my business to know.
Right.
All I know is the guy plays really good golf, and a couple of times I've talked to him, he's been pretty cool. So, hey.
It's funny that, Frank, you picked up on that just so as you were like casually watching it, or you follow Yahoo quite a bit, or
well, I just get the Yahoo news feed, and I just was stunned by that. In that it's like the guy just won. It's like, why would you want to rain on his parade type thing? I don't get it. Because
that's
all this
what
other
sells.
stuff is other stuff, and it's
what
old
sells
news,
now.
And it just I didn't understand what the relevance was.
Well, I think the relevance is always, sometimes negative media always gets more views, so maybe they were just trying to, sell a few more ads or whatever they could do. But
get a few more clicks.
I did not.
The casual fan.
I did not pick up on any of that.
They want to hear dirt. The casual fan. Like that old. What was this? Glenn Fry song.
What's that?
Everybody wants dirty laundry.
Dirty laundry. Well, I don't know if that was Glenn Fry, but I get the I get the point.
I don't think it was Glenn. It might not. It probably wasn't Glenn Fry. It was the other guy from the Eagles. But anyway.
Yeah, we get it. Eddie Money. No, it's not Eddie Money.
They want dirty laundry. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you can throw dirty laundry or negatives on top of that performance, because I thought that was a spectacular weekend of golf.
Yeah.
The field, to watch Ricky make his run, and then watch Ricky make his run.
Spieth make a run.
Yeah,
Thank God did he make a run.
And then McIlroy make a run, and then Fowler make a run, and then Reed have to hold. He hit some shots, some amazing shots.
And his putter was hot.
Oh, he made so many putts. And what was so cool about this Masters, which I think a lot of people may have missed watching it, but they got the rain that they said was going to come through, and that rain came through. It changed the whole golf course.
Oh yeah.
So you went from having this hard, fast, course, and now all of a sudden they can attack those flags. I forget I think it was Saturday where Reed hit into a par 5 and he kind of left it out a little, and it stayed up.
Yeah.
Where normally that would have been in the drink.
Would have been wet. Yeah. I think it was on 13. Yeah, he'd have been in trouble.
But as far as like from a viewer standpoint, I thought it was a great Masters to watch. I thought the telecast was phenomenal. I thought they did a great job. And I think that for the most part, I don't think we could have asked for a better weekend to watch the
One of our
Masters.
crack callers called and says Don Henley is the name you were fishing for.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can't get a golf call to call in, but God, we got people.
We got listeners that know our
that know their rock and roll.
Yes.
Yeah, they. You know what the best part about watching this was?
What?
I didn't have to mute the TV.
Okay.
Because you didn't have these donkey butts yelling, "Get in the hole!" Mashed potatoes, blah blah blah. All that. No. In fact, a couple of years ago, one guy yelled something right after Tiger hit one of his tee shots, and the Augusta National Security was there like they were like the Secret Service. They came out from behind trees and everywhere
Yanked him
else
right out?
and yanked the guy out, took his badges, took his ID, got down all his information and said, "You will never be back on the grounds of Augusta National. You're done." And that they need to do that everywhere.
It was, you know, a lot of people don't know, but like the Masters, they're so strict on like access with cell phones and cameras. And, I mean, you just can't take anything in there. So
Yeah.
you know, even the time I got to go, you know, it's like I was amazed that you had to like leave everything, and it's like a big deal. Like if you take your camera in and they catch you, you're banned for life.
Oh, you're done. Yeah.
Never get to go again.
Yeah.
So they don't mess around. But
No, they don't.
But as far as like
Practice rounds, you can take all that stuff, but
right,
not
in the tournament.
Yeah.
But you know, as far as you know, watching the event, and like we said, you know, from a fan standpoint, you know, with the course softening up on Saturday and allowing the players to attack some pins and be a little bit more aggressive on their lines, you saw the scores drop. But even as that was happening, to watch Patrick Reed, you know, manage his game and hit the kind of shots he did when he had to, because, you know, people tied him. You know, they were right there.
Oh, yeah.
And every time someone made a run, you know, he made a birdie or he did something that kept him
right
and
there.
He just did such a good job of that. So, you know, I think it was a great Masters. He deserved to win. I thought he did a very played very well. But wow, I mean, golf's in great shape right now. I mean,
yeah.
You got a lot of really good guys. And so let's go over our picks, right? So
Okay.
I know what I picked.
Yeah.
And I don't think I did as well as you in the end. But
Well,
my guys made the cut, which is, I guess, a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, could have been worse. So you had, let's go over yours again real quick. So you had one, you had who?
At number one, I had Paul Casey winning this. He was my number. He was my favorite.
Paul Casey
of
was your
the-
winner.
of the
Okay.
five.
Where did he finish? I
Paul
forgot.
Casey, he finished tied for 15th.
So he had a good, I know he had.
Shot 7 under par on Sunday.
So he made the run on Sunday.
He climbed the leaderboard quite a bit.
Right. He was flirty with the record.
He was well out of it for a while.
Right. But he made the big run, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then 2, you had who?
2, I had Ricky Fowler,
Which is
and he came second.
so he had, what was he at, 13 under?
He was at 14 under.
14.
All by himself in second place.
Okay, so you're 21 out. You're at 21 under already.
Yeah.
All right, I'm already done.
And then number 3, I had Patrick Reed.
Right. So you're at,
So-
so you ended up at what?
Yeah, he was at 15 under.
15. So you're at 36.
36 under. And then I had Matt Kuchar.
He still played well too. He was probably
Let's
like 4 or
see
5
where
under,
Matt
right?
I don't think he was that good. I don't think he had a good Sunday.
Okay.
Trying to find him on the leaderboard here.
He moved down quite a
He finished even for the week.
bit. Even. Okay.
Yeah, plus
And-
1 on Sunday.
And then your last guy was who?
Kevin Kisner.
Yeah,
And Kisner also finished even.
Even.
Tie for 28.
Still,
he was
though,
tied.
I mean,
so all my guys were in the top 30.
Yeah.
all
and
5 of my guys.
That was big.
And I had 1 and 2.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have gone to
Hey,
Vegas.
you should have a radio show and maybe write about golf.
I should think about that.
Yeah,
right?
I think you might have a career.
As a procrastinator or prognosticator. Yeah.
So my guys went. So what did I had Watson finished. What did he finish? 7.
Watson finished -9, tie for 5th.
Okay, so that was my highest pick, and I picked him to win.
Yep.
And
Which
then-
wasn't a bad pick. I mean,
No, not at all. And then Dustin Johnson,
Dustin Johnson
Five.
finished tie for 10th, -7.
7. So I'm at 16. And then I had Justin Thomas, who actually he kind of faded away.
Justin
on Sunday.
Thomas, he was +1 on Sunday, -4 for the tournament.
-4. Okay, so I'm at 20. And then I got Phil and Tiger, which
Tiger
Phil just blew it out of.
and
Just didn't.
Phil
didn't
just,
have it.
I think Phil just quit after a while when he realized he wasn't going to win. Let's see, Woods finished +1,
+1.
and Mickelson finished +2.
So they still were respectable. But,
Yeah.
but again, I think you're right. I think Phil he came out and,
it was his Saturday took him out. I mean, he shot -5 on Sunday,
right, so he wasn't horrible.
but it was his Saturday that killed him. So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, I was happy with my picks. I was surprised my guys did as well as they did.
You picked a great field. I got to say, quick shout out on Facebook Live, Vincent Glad down in Colombia, and with GIOTA. He's got a great academy down there, helping hundreds and hundreds of kids. So
nice.
He's watching, so I'd like to see him.
Yeah. And Tommy, remember we were talking about Europeans, and I mentioned Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah. And
was
he
like
was
kind
right
of a real
there.
dark horse. He finished tied for 17th,
Yeah.
-4, and was didn't have a good Sunday. Was +2 on Sunday.
I was
so.
I was telling some of the kids I coached, it's so hard. Like Fleetwood, right? He's on that roll. They got 5 going, right? Like, how do you keep 5 in a row going? How do you keep 6? Some guys were on these runs, and they all bogeyed 18. They all bogeyed coming in. It's like they hit that. They hit that expectation wall.
They hit a wall.
Yeah, and again, Masters makes it hard, but still.
And what's weird, Rory McIlroy playing in the final group with Patrick Reed.
Right.
Was only 3 back to start the day, and wanted to put some pressure on Reed, and he was looking to become the 5th person to win the career Grand Slam, and out of the top 17 players, he was the only one that was over par for the day.
That's kind of amazing.
Everybody else was under par except for McIlroy. McIlroy was +2.
Boy, he looked good for a while.
You got to go all the way.
I thought he was going to just.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to do what he did.
His putter went cold.
Yeah.
His putter went cold. He missed some putts that normally he would have made.
Right.
And it cost him. I mean,
so Reed, I didn't see the final stats on Reed, but I got to believe that his putting totals every day had to be sub 28s or 27s.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he hit so good on the greens. I mean, he just rolled it. He has speed control. I mean, he had one. I remember one 3-putt, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
The whole week or something like that.
And that was one of those ones from where he was in another area code,
right,
on one of the big greens.
But I thought it was a great tournament. I thought it came off good and it was exciting. And even though Tiger did not play, up to his whatever we want to call it, his old standard, he still was nice to see him out there. And again, I think like you said, when you struggle, it's just really hard to get it going. And Mickelson's comments, even after day one, he was talking, he just didn't have it. He wasn't on. He couldn't. And I say that all the time. Sometimes golf's just like that. Sometimes you prepare all you can. You get everything organized. You do everything you can do, and you start, and it's just not there. It's just not crisp. It's just not tight.
And you thought about McIlroy. I mean, he hit a great shot into 2. Was it 2 or was it 8 that he hit it into really tight? And we're thinking, okay, here's an eagle.
No,
probably.
Yeah.
And no, he missed it.
Yeah.
And wound up with a par there, or wound up with a birdie there instead. But yeah, I mean, McIlroy started off in the trees on 1.
Yeah, he blocked it way right.
I mean, it was weird because the minute he hit it, I mean, it literally went at about a 45-degree angle off to the right. It was like, you just striped how many balls on the driving range, and you get to the first tee and you look like me. I mean, what the heck is that about?
when you swing that hard at it, I mean, if you move an inch or you're a fraction of a face open, you can get some horrendous misses with that kind of club head speed. I mean, it is so different when you swing that fast.
Oh yeah.
When you're a little off, you get some chaos.
Yeah.
And that down that right side on 1, I mean, you can get out of bounds there pretty quick because that's where like the merchandise tent and there's some a lot of hospitality stuff down there.
Yeah.
But he hit it. It's kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of looked at it like, damn,
really?
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, I guess it happens to the best of them.
Yeah.
So what's your take on the whole thing? What do you think was the most exciting part of the whole ordeal? Would you say I think it's got to be just the 3 contenders making runs. And
watching Spieth put a lot of pressure on Reed on Sunday when he got when he actually got tied with him at one point.
Right.
And I think it was from that point in he tied. They were both, I think, at 13 under. And from that point in, Reed played, I think, 2 under par or 1 under. He rolled off he made a couple of birdies where he had to.
Right.
And then he just made some clutch pars. He made a couple of 5-6 footers for par. That those are the ones that okay, I need to make that. I can make this. I expect to make this. And when you make them, it gives you how it boosts your confidence. And he made those when he had to, and played really, really well coming down the stretch. I mean, he only shot 1 under par for the day, but some of the putts he made and shots he made to stay at 1 under for the day really, really made the event.
I thought it was kind of interesting, like because Reed was playing late, and some of the runs were being made by guys that were out in front of him, like 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 holes. It's almost like they made, if you watch that tournament, the run is always made on that back nine because you bring those 2 par 5s that are in play. The course was soft, so all of a sudden the birdie attempts were getting closer because they could attack the flag a little bit. And it was like, and he's over there playing like 7, 8, 9, which aren't necessarily the birdie opportunities that present themselves on the back, right?
Yeah.
So it was almost like they were making their run, and he was still hanging on.
Yeah.
He was still making good pars and a
yeah.
birdie here and there. And
Yeah.
then when he got to Amen Corner and made the turn, and then he, and I think Sunday was interesting. I don't think he birdied the par 5s on the back.
He birdied.
I don't think he
Reed. Well, he
parred, I think, par
He's-
5s.
yeah he parred both par.
He did, right?
Yeah, parred both par 5s.
Which is unusual because they were
Yeah.
just tearing that up, and you would think that would be where he would have even separated himself, but he didn't separate
Yeah.
himself on the 5s.
Yeah, but he made he made a long putt on 12 for a birdie, made another long putt on 14 for a birdie.
Those are holes where you normally don't.
You don't think
you're
you're
gonna
gonna
make birdie.
you're gonna make birdie.
You usually
You're
make the 5s,
I'll
right?
take my par and I'll
Right.
move on to the next one. It's the par 5s where I'm gonna make my
Buddy
make my
roll
shots
some
up
in,
to
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And then that putty hit on or chippy hit on 17 that hit the pin.
Right. Oh, that was a savior there.
I mean, if it doesn't hit that pin, it's
Oh,
probably
he's-
10, 12 feet past the hole.
maybe
easy.
more. It was moving.
Maybe more.
How about his cut follow through?
Oh,
How about the
that
helicopter?
kind of a. The first time I saw him hit that, I was like, "Uh-oh!"
I thought it was an air- yeah, you thought it was a big miss, right?
I was like, "No, he's trying to cut that around that corner."
And so they were talking a lot about that because he did it over and over again. So what? Well, I was explaining to I coach a lot of players, right? So we're talking about how to hold clubs or how to hold finishes.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody like Patrick Reed that has such momentum and power, right? He almost has to create like a massive hold because his body, the way he moves so good through the ball that he's going to get through his follow through.
Yeah.
And again, he's trying to make sure it spins right. And new drivers, new balls don't spin as much. So
Yeah.
that was his attempt. But that's very unusual to have somebody. I mean,
It was kind of a chicken wing follow through.
chicken wing. It was like a turkey wing.
It was a big
It was
wing.
so hard, and I kept thinking, wow, that's not good on your arm and shoulder and body to stop momentum like that, But he kept doing it, and then they brought it back to Arnold Palmer-ish.
Yeah.
Palmer used to
Yeah.
have that cut hold.
Homer had that. Yep.
Yeah, and they made it's
So
kind of
that was one of the first things I thought of when I
the
saw
whirly
it. It was
bird
like-
helicopter finish. So anybody who's listening out there, that's something like if you ever really want to hold that, especially the players that play the big draw or that stay on playing and come underneath
Yeah.
and hit draws. Those are the guys that can't hit cuts, right?
Yeah.
If you hold it like that, you can still hit a cut.
Yeah.
But that served him really well in a bunch of holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that impressed me, other than the Reed and Fowler who played well, and Spieth, but you had Tony Finau,
He came out gangbusters though.
who on Wednesday dislocated his left ankle.
Oh, I did read about it. He was hurt.
He aced one of the holes in the par 3 event, the par 3 contest,
Yep.
and kind of ran down the fairway, jumping around, celebrating,
And oop.
and turned around and was kind of going backwards down the hill. And all of a sudden, you see his ankle just fold.
Roll
And
it.
he kind of goes down on a knee. And at first, I thought he put his shoe back on, but it was he
No, he straightened out his ankle.
reset his ankle.
Yeah, he went down on one knee and then he just reset his ankle.
Reset
and
his ankle
stood
and,
up.
and stood up. And I've seen pictures of it. Now that the tournament's over, he put some stuff up. He posted some stuff up on Instagram.
Right. Can't believe he played.
And it is swollen. It is black and blue.
Yeah.
His toes are kind of curled because of, I guess, what the muscles have done in his. And this is a guy that finished 10th and shot -6 on Sunday
With one leg, essentially.
with basically one leg.
Yeah.
I mean, he shot 31 on the backside on Sunday.
There's
So,
a guy that's
He
motivated. Yeah.
had 6 straight birdies on the back 9.
So this is something that I find interesting. Not in all cases, but sometimes when you have something that happens like that, your brain automatically goes into low expectation mode, right? I'm hurt. I don't
Yeah.
expect to do well,
Yeah.
but I'm here. I'm going to
Yeah.
try my best.
Yeah, I'm going to swing a little. Not going to try to put
Well, I
too much
can't.
pressure on it because
I can't.
because I can't. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you kind of take the edge off maybe a little, right? Which I've told players for years. Sometimes golf's really strange. You can go to the golf course for a tournament and be on the range and hit it like you're going to win everything, and you show up on the first tee and you got nothing. Mm-hmm. And I've watched people do that, and I've watched people go on the range that are hitting it sideways and then go to the tee and play great. And it's always been kind of one of those things like, how does that happen? But I always attribute it to more of expectation, right? So when you warm up great, you think, oh, I'm going to play good. I'm going to play good.
I got it today. Yeah.
And then you add that pressure, and then you don't play well. And then if you're on the range, you're not hitting good. You're like, well, I'm just not going to. So all of a sudden, it all comes together. But I'm going to say it kind of happened to him where, I'm sure he had it wrapped and taped and iced, and was probably. I'm sure he had,
Sure of it too.
Yeah, I'm sure he had painkillers and things because it's a major.
Yeah.
So between all of those things, he was able to get around.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's not an easy place to walk. I mean, everybody, athletes are looking
a lot
at
of
this.
hills.
They'll think, that's
walking
silly.
that without a bum ankle's got to be is difficult.
That's a very demanding golf course. Again, they're not carrying their clubs, but swinging as much as they do and the speeds they do. I mean, that's a tough place, especially with anything that's injured. So
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I guess we got that time. Frank's giving us the signal.
Yeah. We're going to take a break.
Take a break. Be back a little bit. Talk more Masters.
220-9788 if you want to join us and talk about the Masters. We're here.
We are here. See you guys in a little bit.
130 yards now.
Bill's got a very tough lie here.
Looks like we have some sort of sea monster in the water hazard here.
I believe that's a kraken, Bruce.
It looks like he's going to go with the 9-iron. That may not be enough club.
Well, he's definitely going to lose his stroke on this hole.
And welcome back to the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Humpday edition.
Humpday edition.
You do that so well.
You've been doing it way too long.
I should be on radio, right? Got a face for radio.
Hey, before we get into more of our show here, I got a couple shout outs. One, I want to say congratulations to Trace McGuire.
Okay.
Trace is a junior at John Carroll High School, and he verbally committed to University of New Orleans. Loyola University in New Orleans, where he has decided to accept a golf scholarship to play golf.
Sweet.
And I'm really proud for him because he worked really hard at his recruiting, and I've been helping him with his swing and his game, and he's done everything that anybody could ask, and I'm so excited for him. So he's got it all the way early, though. I mean, he's still got to play his senior year, but right now, like I tell kids all the time, when a school that you want gives you a really good offer, you got to commit because they have to fill their spots.
Yeah.
And if you wait too long, they're going to fill it with somebody else. So that was a perfect example. And then another player I've been working with, Tanner Vickers, who is a freshman at South Fork High School, who I'm also working with, shot his personal best on Sunday, shot a 72 even par.
Nice.
Yep. He had 11 fairways and 13 greens and 28 putts. And I said, you probably should have shot, a couple under, but he had a double or two here. He had a double and a couple bogeys. But that's a really good, solid round for a kid that's been working at it. So I'm sure we'll hear more about him the next couple years.
13 fairways, so he only missed one fairway.
No, he hit 11 fairways
11
and 13
fairways,
greens.
Okay.
But still, we have a game that we coach. It's like 10 fairways, 10 greens. And so he's been trying to play more statistically oriented, not just trying to shoot a score and kind of control his game. So he did really good. I just want to say congratulations to those two guys.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Especially on the scholarship thing. That's cool. That's
I do a business call. I call my business it's College Golf Pipeline, and we help kids find scholarships, but it's really player centric. It's not. I mean, I help them and guide them, but I try to teach them what they have to do to get noticed, and if they follow the plan, it works. And Trace is a perfect example. Didn't have a lot of college interest, but again, sent his things out, created the relationship, followed what you got to do, and made a couple visits, and sure enough, he's got a nice place to play and has pretty much majority of his school paid for. I mean, it was a great scholarship. Golf doesn't have the full scholarship athletic program like football or baseball.
Well, it doesn't generate the revenue that football does.
But,
I mean, it's kind of hard to.
But if your grades are good and you have a good golf game, it can be really close. But it's always got that component of the good grades help a lot, because if they want you to play on their team and your grades are good, they can get you more money academically to offset the money they can offer you athletically. So it works out really good.
And if your grades don't stay good,
right,
then
your scholarship can go down.
Well, that, and you won't be eligible to play either,
right?
Because I mean, there's that. The NCAA has that in there as well.
Right.
I mean, you've got to maintain a
golfer kids. Average. By the time most golfer kids have really good grades. It kind of comes with the game, because you have to be. Golf's a really sophisticated game, the way you think, and
cerebral,
yeah. And so usually golf
That's a
kids
$5
have
word
good
from
grades,
Frank.
but
Wow.
again, we have to keep reminding them all the time. Cerebral is a really good word. Don't ask me to spell it, because I don't have my spell check on. So
yeah.
But anyway, that was kind of exciting for some guys I'm working with.
Well, nobody's been lucky enough to defend at the Masters in quite some time. I think Tiger was the last one to do it. And
Sergio, your buddy,
my buddy, his Masters was over on day one.
But it was a heck of a day.
A heck of a day. Got to the 15th hole and hit 5 straight shots in the water.
It was right out of a script of a
Tin Cup.
Absolutely.
Carded a 13. That'll pretty much bump you out of the event.
So I'm so glad you brought that up, because I did want to talk about that, right? Because that does, one, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
2, it doesn't happen at the Masters with the reigning Masters champion.
Yeah.
And obviously, there was Sergio had to have lost it in his mind there for a little bit, or it became.
I mean, that's where your body and your mind go separate directions.
Yeah. Now,
whatever it was. It didn't bother him the day that he put the jacket on Reed.
No, it didn't. No,
he was
all smiles when he was putting the jacket on.
Well, he actually played really good that day, except for the 13.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it was +1 going into that hole, which was Thursday played tough.
Well, he shot 81 with a 13.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, a 13. I mean, he was 8 over on one hole. I mean,
one hole.
It wasn't like he was in contention, but again, I didn't. Did you hear interviews about like what was going through, like what happened on the first one. Okay, blah blah blah. And then what happened? Because I kind of
Well, he said he didn't miss a shot.
he hit them all good.
He hit them all well. Hit him about where he wanted to hit him. It was a little bad luck, too much spin. The ball came back off the green and into the water.
So,
and
I don't remember the shot because I didn't see it. Do you know what it was?
I saw some of the highlights, and it was
like a 6-iron at 206. Was it?
He tried to go for the green in 2,
Right.
and hit it in the water. It came off the right side and rolled into the water.
And instead of going up and taking his drop, he played it again.
Well, he kind of went to a yardage he liked.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't see that part.
And that's when he started spinning the ball back, and it was just one right after another. After
So
that.
he had So he reached the point where he couldn't stop the ball because of spin, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
So he almost went too close.
Yeah.
Kind of threw him out of.
Yeah.
He should have. So he could have flighted a ball down or something, but there
Yeah.
probably wasn't. That wouldn't have been a good shot there.
Yeah.
So he hit one in. He went to a yardage he liked, spun it in again.
Spun it in again.
Spun it again, and then at that point, it's like, what the heck, right? What am I supposed to do? I can't go closer. There's no reason for me to go closer.
Yeah.
All I can do is keep hitting this shot.
Yeah.
That's why he made 13.
Yeah. And as anybody, those of you who watch the Masters, you'll note that on the 15th hole, after your drive, you're driving, kind of up a hill, and the second shot is kind of a little bit of a downhill lie. The closer you get to the green, the more downhill it is.
Right.
So eventually, you get to a certain spot, and you're hitting
You got a really weird angle.
a pretty weird shot to hit.
Right.
Being so downhill, and I think that's what happened, and it just it was just
backfired.
like you said, one after another. I mean, the only thing I saw that qualifies for being worse was the year on the first hole on Thursday when Ernie Els 7-putted the first hole for a 10.
Oh, I do remember that. I forgot about
And it's like, man, you all this build up, you're at the Masters, your whole week's going along, and all of a sudden
You're going to 7-putt.
you 7-putt and you take a 10 on the first hole, and you got to kind of go, well, I got 35 more holes of whatever because I'm probably not making the cut.
No.
And I've thrown away my whole week just
On 7 putts.
just in in a matter of
forgot
about
about
7-8
that.
minutes.
That was what, 4 or 5 years ago?
It was about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
I don't even remember that whole story. That'll like scar you for life on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the first putt was only he missed the green, chipped on, and probably had about a 10-footer.
And just whacked it all over the board.
Whacked it a little past, and hit the next one a little past, and then I think the next one lipped out and went further away, and he just sat there looking at it, shaking his head like, is there even a hole on this green?
Oh, that would not be good.
No.
I don't think I've ever 7-putted. I'm trying to think. Have you ever 7-putted?
I don't think I've ever 7-putted.
No, I mean obviously those.
I think by then I'd have picked it up.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure my playing partners would have been. That one's good. Just let's go.
7-putt's a lot. Yeah.
That is a lot.
I have deposited a small bucket on a couple of holes in my time, but
Oh yeah.
7-putt might not be it.
Yep.
We'll take another break.
Yeah. Not often you shoot a 10 on a hole and don't lose a ball.
No, give us a call if you're out there listening. Ask a question.
220-9788 WST Radio. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, we're back. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Some other interesting notes from the Masters tournament this past week. Tom Watson,
My favorite player of all time,
who almost became the oldest man to win the Open Championship.
which I thought was amazing.
I,
One of the best things in history of golf was Tom Watson almost winning the Open Championship.
yeah, and it's funny because my late co-host Mike Murphy, for the longest time he referred to Stuart Sink as Mr. Evil because he won that playoff and took it away.
Evil,
and took it away. He called him Mr. Evil.
Oh, that's not fair to Stuart, though.
No, it's not. And Stuart's a great guy.
He is.
And I saw him at the Honda several years after that, a few years after that, and I was talking with him, and I told him, I said, my late buddy, calls you,
Mr. Evil.
He laughs. He laughs. He goes, well, he's not the only one. He goes, in fact, I kind of felt like Mr. Evil. He said, because he goes, I was excited for him to win it. And then I realized that was in a playoff, and I'm like, "Oh hell, I could win this myself." He says,
I don't think he's not giving back that claret jug.
No. He says I wouldn't give it back. He says, but at the same time, it was a bittersweet moment because he goes, Tom's always been one of my heroes. He says,
how would you like to have been Stuart Sink and you lose to Tom Watson in that Open? You've lost to the oldest major champion of all time, and be like, that'll be a historic moment.
Yeah. Well, Tom became the oldest at 68 to win the par 3 contest.
Wait, no, how old is Tom Watson?
68.
Is that what he is?
Yep, he's 68.
I thought he was already 70.
No, he's 68.
He's 68, and he won the par 3.
Won the par 3 contest. Now, no one has ever won the par 3 contest and gone on to win the Masters.
Right, that's
so usually the guys that are playing in it, and Tom's no longer playing in the official Masters.
Right, they don't want to win that tournament. They
don't want to win it.
Nobody wants
they'll throw a ball in the water. They'll let somebody else hit a shot for them just so they're disqualified so they can't win it.
That's funny. That's a superstition of golf, right?
Yeah.
So Watson won that.
So Watson wins that. And in his group, he was playing with Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus.
Right.
And Jack's 15-year-old grandson,
GT, who I know well from playing,
was caddying for
tell
Jack.
the story. It's a great one.
And on the 9th hole, Jack said, "Yeah, you hit my shot here."
Right.
So his grandson hits the shot. He gets up on the green. One of the best parts was the commentary from Gary Player. The minute he hit it, Gary says, "Oh, this looks pretty good. This is going to be pretty good." It lands on the green, goes up to the back, and takes the little hill and starts rolling back towards the hole.
And Gary Player goes.
And Gary Player's just sitting there going, "Oh, this is going to be good. You're going to like this. This is going to go in." And he called it like when it was still 30 feet away from the hole.
Right.
And sure enough, it goes in the hole, and it's just bedlam on the tee.
Oh, it's bedlam.
And Jack Nicklaus, who I follow on Instagram, he posted up Wednesday night. He said, "With all respect to the Masters, I want to put my 6 green jackets in the closet for a minute and just say that this is probably the greatest moment I've ever had on a golf course. Watching my grandson get a hole-in-one.
Yeah.
I mean, that in his first hole-in-one.
Ever.
What a place to get your first hole-in-one.
And GT is a very good player. I mean, he's young.
Mm-hmm.
He's young.
15, yeah.
And, but he's going to end up being GT is Gary's son.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I coached at the Pine School, he played at Jupiter Christian. And he was playing varsity golf like from 7th grade. He's a big kid too. Like,
oh, he's tall. He's
6'1", 6'2",
I was gonna
maybe.
say, he towers over his
220
grandfather.
pounds. He's a solid kid. But yeah, I watched the clips on that, and he made a great pass at it. Now think about that. He's been caddying. He hasn't hit a ball.
Yeah.
Grandpa says, "Hey, go ahead, knock one
Here,
on.
take my club and hit it up there."
I'll just float one and knock it in for one." Did you see how excited Nicholas was?
Oh, yeah.
When he turned around and he was arms and he ran at him like he won the Masters.
Oh, I know.
It was awesome.
It was great. It really was very cool.
If I'm not mistaken, Nicholas took some heat though for saying he'd put his 6 jackets away in the closet.
Yeah.
From some people, right?
Hey, I mean, what parent wouldn't or grandparent wouldn't? I mean, as much as you enjoy what you've done and what you've accomplished,
right.
Watching your kid or your grandkid do something, it has a little more. It's a little cooler.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think so.
I mean, it just is.
It has more depth, more value.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's more of a moment where, I mean, obviously, Nicholas up in age too, and not the moments are precious.
Yeah.
And to have a moment with your grandson like that, that's very impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Another interesting shot, Jason Day on I don't know which round it was, but his approach shot onto the first hole, he missed the green. but he did put it in the cup. It was a guy's beer cup.
A beer cup on one, please.
Yep, beer cup on one. The gentleman apparently looked at the ball in his cup and drank the beer and handed Jason Day back the golf ball.
Didn't want to waste his beer.
Was not going to waste that beer.
That
As cheap as it was, he still didn't want
the best. That's the story here. That the guy would actually not want to give up
his beer.
And you know, if the ball landed in his cup, it wasn't like it was full. It had to disperse a lot of beer when it hit, like a bomb going off. And the guy said, "Oh, let me just take a sip right here and give you the ball." That's funny.
Yeah, grass flavored beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more like a Jason Day saliva flavored ball, because he probably licked it or rubbed it off with his thumb like I do. So that was nasty.
Oh man,
I just ruined that story.
Now, for years and years and years, there were no women members at Augusta.
Right.
Now Condoleezza Rice is a member at Augusta National.
Right.
Well, Augusta National is going to host the women's amateur
Oh, that's good.
in 2019. So next year, they are
Hosting the U.S. Am.
they're going to host the U.S.
And
Women's Amateur.
They don't do a lot of things like that. Like not women events, but in general.
In general, anything other than the Masters.
I've never heard of the Augusta National hosting. Has they ever hosted anything outside USGA wise?
No. Well, they originally, when they built the golf course, when Clifford Roberts and Clifford Roberts, but when Bobby Jones and then when they built the golf course, they originally went to the USGA and says, "We'd like you to come look at our golf course. We think you should have a U.S. Open here." And the USGA kind of scoffed at him, and no, we're not interested. So Bobby Jones went, "Well, you know what? I'll just make my own damn tournament."
That's kind of where it came from, right?
And that's where it came from.
Right. Because they didn't want to host a championship there.
Yeah.
And that was probably a big deal to Bobby Jones, because he was he was always an amateur, had won the Grand Slam, was America's most, he was America hero golf wise, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody knew who he was back then.
Yep.
And to have the USGA kind of shun him,
Yeah.
probably hurt him a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wonder why they did that. There had to be a story to that. Nobody's going to know now.
I don't know.
There's probably something that went back and somebody didn't like this or didn't like that or whatever.
Well, if you didn't get to the Masters and you want to buy shirts and hats and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that go to the Masters and just
load up.
Yeah. I mean, they showed guys walking out with 40, 50 hats.
Right.
And you'll find all that stuff on the internet now.
Right.
Yeah.
But none of it is actually authorized by Augusta National.
Right.
Now, years ago, I wanted to get my brother an Augusta National hat.
Okay.
And I literally called the golf course. They put me through to the shop. I spoke to a lady there, told her what I wanted to do. She took my credit card information, my shipping information. I think they charged me like $25, and I got a hat in the mail like a week later. Don't know if you can still do that or not, but it's like, that's pretty cool.
That is cool. I mean,
that's pretty neat.
It's
they'll let you do that.
The merchandise side of the Masters is a massive undertaking.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure that if they've put 2018 on that hat, they wouldn't mind getting rid of it. I mean, it's just inventory. It's going to sit there. And it's you've been there and tried to shop. It's not easy to shop there.
No, they opened up a whole new
place.
shop. I mean, it's huge.
I saw
it's huge.
16 registers.
It's just insane.
Yeah, because there's so many things you can buy, but they do a great job. I mean, whatever you buy, they'll ship it, they'll hold it, it's like shopping at Disneyland.
Yeah, you can buy it now, and they basically put it in a locker, and
it's the same system.
And you go get it
like
later.
Disney,
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's like layaway.
It's funny. And just so if anybody's listening, the food is cheap, but the merchandise is not.
No, the merchandise is a little pricier. Yeah,
yeah, and it's good stuff, but some of the stuff's expensive.
Yeah,
yeah. But
it's not as good as the sandwiches you guys brought last week.
No, those were good. In fact, I was kind of craving one of Arlen's sandwiches. Is all that gone? It's all gone.
It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know what?
I did work of that. Though,
I did take it home and grill it.
Because we had talked about that.
Yeah. It was way better grilled.
Oh wow.
The only problem.
Imagine better.
The only problem was that because it was already cut. No, well, bacon would have won, but because it was already cut, the cheese oozed out. When you.
Oh yeah.
But it was good. No, it was a lot better.
Oh, I bet.
Oh yeah, that's a good grilled cheese.
And speaking of merchandise, every year John Daly, even though he's not playing in the Masters anymore, he parks his his rather large motorhome at the Hooters parking lot right there down the street from Augusta,
Right.
and sells
John Daly.
John
merchandise.
Daly wear, John Daly merchandise out of it.
Absolutely.
Well, apparently, somebody ran their car into it by accident in the parking lot.
They
Yeah,
banged.
yeah. Somebody
They ran into his
there was-
trailer, or they ran into his selling thing.
No, they ran into the back end of his motorhome.
Oh.
Somebody ran into it.
So he
but
won't be
nobody was hurt. But it got him a little more press than he would have otherwise got, I guess.
Well,
but
I think John Daly doesn't like to fly, right?
no, he does not fly.
He does
will not fly.
He's like John
anywhere.
Madden, right?
Yep.
So
You know, Whoopi Goldberg is another person who doesn't fly. I don't get that, but
Just
yeah,
fear,
John Madden,
phobic.
same thing. Yeah.
I figured she'd have had a broom that did that for by now. But
Whoopi Goldberg doesn't fly.
She doesn't. She will not fly.
wow.
I think that's just an excuse. She doesn't have to go places. But as far as Daly goes, he does that. He makes a lot of money doing that. Those
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, I bet
Yeah.
so.
And he's there. Like he signs, like you buy stuff, he signs it, takes
yeah.
pictures with you, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen him recently? I mean, he's not as heavy, but he
No.
looks weathered though.
He looks like 10 miles of bad road. He really does.
Yeah, he was at the booth, one of the brands I work with. He does, and I took a picture and stuff, but it's like, wow, he looked
Yeah.
pretty beat. So
Yeah.
I mean, gets
Well, alcohol and being out in the sun 24 hours a day almost.
right. He's
will
had
do
a rough
that, too.
life. You think about
Yeah.
it. I mean, he's been, but hey, he's a survivor. He's doing it.
Now, you mentioned earlier, golf's in a pretty good place right now. We got a lot of young guys that are playing well.
And you got the Tiger interest. It's
We
going
got the Tiger interest. Well, with Patrick Reed winning the Masters, all 4 majors are now held by Americans in their 20s.
Oh, when's that ever happened?
Brooks Koepka's 27. Patrick Reed's 27.
Right.
Jordan Spieth, 24, and Justin Thomas is 24.
We got and Ricky Fowler
And
at
Ricky Fowler's right
27 or
there.
28.
He's in his mid-20s. So, I mean,
Justin Johnson is
Yeah.
just now barely turning 30, right? Or close, 29.
yeah, he's a little, I think he's 30, 32 maybe. But yeah. So,
it's a good era
Yeah.
for golf in our and it's good. We needed that.
yeah. And they said this is the first time in, I forget how long, that all major trophies are with Americans since Tiger held them all at one point. Because
Wow.
Tiger had all 4 of them at one point.
That's right. Right.
Not
Well,
all in the same year, but
So that's a good testament to American golf.
oh yeah.
Where we are, and I'm hoping that some of these junior golf, I think it just seems like I know in our area for sure it's down.
Yeah.
I just found out today from one of the moms from the kids I coach that said U.S. Kids dropped Stewart as a host site for U.S. Kids junior golf. Like they used to have tournaments up
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And there wasn't enough activity. So now all the kids in Stewart have to drive to West Palm Beach is the nearest hub for them
that
to get
stinks.
golf tournaments. So think about that. So, I mean, you couldn't get – I mean, junior golf was so big here like 4, 5, 6 years ago. I mean, tournaments were full. They get 30, 40 kids. And kids just aren't playing.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit of what happened. I think it happened. I think Martin County is what happened. When Martin County went down
Yeah.
and, Lynn Stillman, who was there for years, and some of those people.
Lynn was big on junior golf.
Well,
Yep.
she had lots of kids in there. And I think that when, it's just there's no place for them to go. And Martin County's a lot better than it used to be,
Yeah.
but I don't see the kind of draw that needs to be there for kids locally.
Well, you got your checkbook?
Why?
Hidden Lakes Golf Club, which is up in New Smyrna Beach, up by
Is that one of the ones where the guy that called in about?
no,
Different one? Okay.
no, that's just south of Daytona Beach.
Okay.
Hidden Lakes it's a par 69 golf course. I think the longest tees are like 56,
So
5,700
it's a
yards.
shorter course.
Is for sale. $1.6 million. That to me doesn't sound like a lot of money for an entire golf course. You get the golf course, the clubhouse, the carts, everything.
Right.
That doesn't seem very like an awful lot of money, especially when you consider just the land itself. You're getting what, 100 to 125 acres.
Well, obviously,
Right. I wonder what the taxes are.
Yeah, that would probably hurt you.
well, taxes not as much as
And It also has a beer, wine, and liquor license.
Oh,
Now that's
okay.
the key. You got to have the
All right.
liquor license. But
It's probably one of those courses that 20 years ago you couldn't get on because the people that lived there or played there were retirees and snowbirds, and they all play golf. But unfortunately, 25
they've gotten
years,
older now.
Well, they're gone.
Yeah.
And no one's it's kind of like Vista Plantation, not Vista Plantation, the course up in Vero that's on the highway. It's like Vista something. Vista Royale.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, American Golf manages that now.
Well, yeah, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's not a really.
Yeah.
They do it just to. I mean, they cut it and people go.
they mow it, and that's about it.
It's not. Yeah, it's really not a good golf course. But again, all the people that lived in those hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands,
yeah.
of condos.
Yeah.
But again, that's probably what happened with that place. Everybody up there there's nobody there.
That's it for us, folks.
That was a quick show.
Have a good night. If you want to loan me $1.5999 million, I'll
There's probably $2 million in upkeep and things that need.
yeah, probably. Probably a tax.
Not a bargain.
Probably a tax bill that's due.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Take care.